Have you ever had solicitors come to your house? Man, I have. We got one of those Ring doorbells so we can see them coming and act like we're not home because I don't want it. See, well, you don't even know what it is. I don't want it. If you have to bring it to my door and talk me into buying it, I don't want it. I got Amazon. I can find it for a better price, and I'll know about it if I want it. And if I don't know about it and I don't want it, I don't want to know about it. So anyhow, solicitors come all the time trying to knock on your door and push something on you that you may or may not want. Jesus is no solicitor. Jesus is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. He has the answers. He has all that you need to be successful and happy and fulfilled in your life. And rather than force it on you, he knocks at your door. He waits patiently for you to take the time and make the effort to open the door. And then he'll come in. He won't rush it. He won't rush through it. He won't try to put a sales pitch on you and try to get you to make a decision. He will come in and dine with you. He'll commune with you. He's not in a rush. And if you've ever spent much time in prayer and gotten into the presence of God, that's one of the greatest characteristics of God. You may be in a hurry to know something or do something or get somewhere, but when you truly get in the Spirit and in the presence of God, you find out, He's not in a hurry. He is not rushed, and He won't rush you. He'll come in and dine with you or commune with you. He'll talk to you and let you talk to Him. I think some people talk and talk a lot because they need a place to express their feelings, their desires, their fears, their hopes. And Jesus is the one that wants to hear what you need, what you're hoping for, what you're afraid of, what you're concerned about. And He'll come in and spend time with you. And not only that, but He'll actually give you an answer that you can accept and follow, and something you can actually do in your life. I'm amazed at the wisdom that comes through spending time with God. In fact, one of the things that Jesus will do that will surprise you, when you spend time with Him, He'll talk to you about things that you're not even asking about. You may need to make a decision in one area, and He'll just take the time and talk to you about other things and show other things to you and reveal other things in your life that maybe you need to change or you need to do that will make your life better and happier. I just don't understand people that run from God. I don't understand the mindset that says, I don't want God to mess up my life. Do you think your life is so good that Jesus can't make it better? Oh, I'll tell you something. Jesus can take your life and just put it on steroids. He can take you to a whole different level of fulfillment and joy and peace. And He's waiting. He's knocking at the door like a gentleman. He's not going to force anything on you. But if you want to know what God wants for you, He will show you. He'll tell you. God is a communicator, and God can talk to you. I want to impress that on you today, and that's really what this message is all about today. It's to convince you and prepare you to go talk to God, because I promise you, God can communicate with you. You can hear the voice of God. And you may think, well, I've never really known for sure if God's ever spoken to me. Well, you can. And I want to tell you, you're not spiritually hard of hearing. You're not spiritually deaf. You're not in a place that's so far from God, or you've been so long out there that God can't reach you now. That's just not true. If you're a child of God, then you can be led by the Spirit of God. If you're His sheep, then you know His voice, and the voice of a stranger you will not follow. These are all promises that God has made to us and for us. So God's a communicator. He knows how to communicate with you. He knows how to get the message through to you. But He won't force His direction on you. He won't make you accept His will. He won't force His plan on your life. He knocks. He says, do you want me to come in? Do you want to know what I know? Do you want my direction? And if you want it, it is available. And let me say this. God's voice is not always the loudest voice. In fact, very seldom is God's voice the loudest voice. God could be. He could yell louder than anybody else in the world. It seems, though, in our world, the least important messages are the loudest. Have you ever seen a used car ad? How important are used cars in the scope of things? And you know what's even worse? Furniture. Man, those furniture guys, they really get loud. If you had to judge the importance of a message by the volume of their ads, then used cars and furniture would be the most important thing in the world, but it's really not. And it's important to have a car, but it's not the most important. God's voice is the most valuable, most important information, the most important voice in the world, but it's not the loudest. In fact, sometimes it's the softest. See, well, why wouldn't God raise his voice to get my attention? That's just not how he operates. You know, if he was going to operate that way, he would have yelled at Adam before he ate that forbidden fruit. He would have stopped Adam. He would have shaken him. He would have taken him out to the woodshed and given him what for. But that's not how God's chosen to relate to us. He's chosen to be available, but not domineering. And so God's voice is not the loudest voice, but it is the most important voice. And to hear his voice, you have to listen for it. I think some people have the attitude that, well, God knows I love him and God knows I'm going through a trial in my life, a transition. And if he's got any direction for me, he'll just give it to me. It doesn't work that way. He's not going to intrude on your life. You have to go after it. You have to open the door. You have to respond to his presence. But if you will, I promise you, he will speak to you and lead you and guide you. Oh, wow. I am so excited about this. This message, it's the most valuable, really practical thing, I guess, that you could teach. Because if you can hear God's voice, he can spare you from trouble. He can get you out of a jam. He can help you if you get off doctrinally. But if you can't hear from God, you can get into all kinds of trouble. And you probably found this out in life. There are all kinds of ways to get hung up and mistakes that you can make. But if you could hear God's voice and learn how to hear that voice above all the others, then you can make it. You can get out of trouble. You can go around temptation. Jesus prayed that, didn't he? He said, lead us not into temptation. Well, that must mean that God's able to lead us in plain and smooth pathways. He's able to lead us around trouble. He's able to help us bypass the traps and the snares that the enemy would set for us. I believe that God has a unique plan for your life, that it is something unique for you. And think about this. If every fingerprint is different and every snowflake is different and every face, identification is different, then it stands to reason that everyone's path in life is different. It's unique to you. And I'm also convinced that you will never truly find that pathway in life, God's perfect will for your life, God's unique plan for you, without hearing his voice. You need to hear God. You need his direction. You may not need it all the time. There are things that we can, get in place and we can go through the motions and get through, and things that we can do. I mean, you don't need to hear God's voice to go to the grocery store when you run out of food. Go get groceries. And you don't need to hear God's voice to tell you to stop at a red light. If the light's red, stop. When it's green, go. But there are things in life that you need direction in. There are times that you need direction. In fact, you may be going through a trial right now and you need direction. You may be at a crossroads in your life and there are 5 options before you, or 10 options, or maybe just 2, and you don't know what to do. You need to hear God's voice. I wish I could tell you what to do, but it's not. The kingdom's not set up that way. If I could tell you what to do, then you'd have to call me every time you were to make a decision, and we'd both get tired of that. But that's not how God set it up. The children of God are led by the Spirit of God. And if you're at a place right now, you may be at a place in your life where you just feel like life is boring, it's dull, I'm just in a dead end, I feel like I'm on a treadmill, I'm not going anywhere in my life. You need to hear from God. He'll tell you what to do to excite you, to bring you into adventure, to make your life fulfilling. You may be facing a challenge and you don't know how to deal with it. The pressure maybe is unbearable and you don't know how to get out from under it. You need to hear God's voice. And Jesus is standing at the door and he's knocking, and he's going to help you if you'll open the door.
Visit gregfritz.org to download the MP3s and stream the video for free by entering code FREE at checkout.
Be sure to let me know what you thought about this teaching in the comments section, and share these videos with your friends, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get more teaching that will empower you to do God's will for your life.